Welcome to the weather forecast for the week beginning Wednesday, July 5th and July 12th. I'm going to take a little summer break here and recording two at once. I'm in the Woodland Park Public Library and they put me in a little meeting room down here. This is Chief Meteorologist John Ensworth, Longmont Public Media. Sunday, July 9th will be our third quarter moon, and Sunday, July 16th will be our new moon for our next two phases. We have pretty active sun, a large number of sunspots. It sure is echoey, isn't it? Sorry about that. Moving on to look at drought conditions. From last week to this week, just this little corner vanishes out on the eastern plains. We are very close to totally drought-free. Now, I'm concerned about the western slopes because there hasn't been rain there for a few weeks, and there isn't going to be any for a little while. So we might start seeing drought sneak back in over there. Nationwide, things are looking really good. We do have a core of drought conditions here, and they haven't really changed. But as more summer storms hit, well, that should bring relief to the Great Plains. For smoke, we still have western and eastern Canadian fires, and some smoke has kind of drifted down into the pattern pretty much nationwide, a little bit of smoke. So you've probably seen some haze out there. For rainfall, again, the western slopes, another week of not much, but some places colossal amounts of water, 2, 3, 4 inches of water around the Front Range out on the plains here. Looking at our climatology for drought conditions, going into the last week of May, into June, you can see the chances become pretty good up around eastern Colorado. Starts to back off in the first week of July. And this is going to be weird. There's the second week of July, and then for the week I'm gone, climatology really changes. This is really there. I don't know what. So it's very strange. Taking a look at severe weather. We've had a lot of severe weather, lots of hail, and it's going to keep going this week. Wednesday, we have a slight risk from north side Denver down and into the mountains and on. And we have 2% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of any points in these green areas. That's Denver south and to either side of the interstate. And for hail, really good chances here too, 15% chance around here for damaging hail. Thursday, it gets even stronger where slight risk goes back to include most of the northeast third or half of the state and an enhanced area, so 3 out of 5 for danger, all the way up into the Red Feather Lakes area and down to Pueblo. I mean, you got to keep your eyes open Thursday as well. And the chance of a tornado is 5% within 25 miles of a point, including looks like Denver down to Colorado Springs along the interstate, and then eastward, and then 2% for a large area here too. Tremendous hail risk, 30% chance of damaging hail within 25 miles of you in the red zone here, 15% up through here. So yeah, very active. And then again, Friday, we don't have the particular hazards map for 3 days out, but slight risk right up I-25. It looks just barely into Fort Collins and then clearly over to Boulder and all the communities down to Pueblo. So Wednesday, we have this good chance of severe weather with northern part of the state under cool air with the cold front. Then that goes crazy with severe weather on Thursday and again on Friday. Looking at our normal temperatures, 88 to 90 is normal over the next 10 days. This is our normal highest temperature, 57 to 60. We're now at our normal warmest low temperature. I get it all out. Good chances of storms each day. Sorry. Taking a look at the water vapor satellite, there's still lots of moisture around in the state. A little bit of dryness in the southwest and a little bit there. Moisture should be coming down, flowing back in behind the front. This is the remains of yesterday's convection. Tuesdays. So just notable, here's a ridge that's going to try to establish itself over the next 15 days, but we have kind of a northwest flow, southwest over here, west here, and then these ripples are going by to kick off activity. There's our Wednesday storm coverage. For Thursday, another couple short waves coming through and kicking off more storms here and up in Wyoming. So let's take a look at this over the next 14 days. Keep an eye on this high pressure center down here. It's going to really make New Mexico and Arizona bake. But up here we have at times northwest flow or at the top of the ridge, and these little short waves coming through, just hinted at in the model. There's more northwest flow there too into Monday. And then the ridge starts to finally shut things down some, but with northwest flow still here, we're up on the northeast side of the high, you can get ripples that could kick off stuff every afternoon. Okay, this is the end of the first week, so now we're into my vacation week. You can see the ridge here kind of flattening out, but the flow over the state hardly changes at all, and these ripples can still come through. Here's Sunday in the 16th. And finally, at the very end here, the ridge really does establish itself over us when we heat up and dry out. This is a Canadian cold front. This is a weird time of the year to have a Canadian cold front come through, but there it is. And cold air doesn't quite get over the Rockies much, so the western slopes are hot and dry. The cold really just lingers out here on the plains. And this is into Monday, Tuesday. We are still unusually cool. There's thunderstorms popping up, the cold air by the thunderstorms settling down, and we get warm midweek next week, and then here's another cold front, and this thing really pushes in. Look at that. Way below normal temperatures at the end of next week. And then into next weekend, storms again. So there's no way for me to point out severe weather that far out, but it's possible. And there at the very end, it gets really hot and dry. I won't go too far with this. This is our precipitatable water, and it is above average, and it just continues to be above average most of the time. There's Friday into Saturday into the weekend, dry on the western side, very moist on the eastern side of the Rockies. Going into Monday next week, we have this moisture still here. I mean, the upper level support won't be as strong. There's a hurricane down here that's not yet been named. Then by Thursday next week, you can see there's still a ribbon of moisture. So every single day I've got some chance of precipitation. The dew points of the surface are really high, 50s, 60s. This is going into Friday now. A little dry air over here on the western slopes, keeping anything from happening there. But 58, 56, or 60 around Colorado Springs. That is crazy. Really large amounts of atmospheric moisture allowing these things to go crazy. And I'll just go ahead and hop on, but it doesn't really dry out until the end of the 2-week period. So taking a look at precipitation, there's our Wednesday storms. Here come the Thursday storms. Friday storms, a little bit further south. And then Saturday, there's still storms possible. Will they be severe? I don't know. Sunday drives out. And then Monday a little bit. Then it fires again on Monday. Then into Tuesday, we are dry. And here comes that next cold front we saw. There's post-frontal precipitation and some thunderstorms again. And storms keep on going. Again, the western slopes are missing out on almost all the action. So I'd like to see some monsoonal stuff start coming up out of Mexico and give the western side some moisture. So here's the very end of the 2-week period. You can see it really does finally dry out, but there's some storms there. Let's back to the beginning. All right, so over the next 5 days, more moisture, inch amounts, very possible. And underneath the thunderstorm, you could get an inch or two or more. Over the next 10 days, lots of moisture for the eastern plains. So for the first week out, we start really cool. Then we're still cool. We're still below normal with the 80s. We should be around 90. It isn't until Monday, Tuesday next week that we dry out and get back to seasonable. And there's a hint that Thursday next week, we get that increase with that next front. It cools down a little bit to the 80s, and then we get back to the 90s beyond, but that's probably more climatology than it is an actual forecast. That's too far out. All right, so Longmont Leader and Broomfield Leader for frequent weather updates. I will continue to post updates there. This is just a big production to make a video. So this has been Chief Meteorologist John Ensworth, seeing you again in a couple weeks.